One switch stood between that bomb and 4 million dead. Not a system, not a failsafe, not a crude decision. One switch, and it was never supposed to be there alone. The United States Air Force called it a routine mission. January 24th, 1961. A B-52 Stratofortress 2, Mark 39 thermonuclear bombs in the payload bay. Routine. That word would not survive the morning. The bomber had been in the air for hours. Airborne alert, standard Cold War protocol. Nuclear-armed aircraft, rotating shifts, always in the sky, always ready. The logic was simple. If the ground was destroyed, something had to survive to strike back. That night, the something was this aircraft. These 2 bombs. This crew of 8. At 12:14 in the morning, a fuel leak opened in the right wing.
Fuel pressure dropping rapidly on engine 3.
Affirmative. Warning light is active. We have a serious
leak. Not a
leak.
warning light flickering. Not a gauge reading slightly low. A catastrophic bleed. Jet fuel hemorrhaging from the wing at a rate no crew could correct. The aircraft began to destabilize. 8 men fought to hold it together. They couldn't. The pilot gave the order. Bail out. One by one, they ejected into the dark over North Carolina. 8 men went into that sky. 5 survived. 3 did not. 2 ejection seats malfunctioned. 1 parachute failed to open fully. They fell into the same farmland their aircraft was about to hit. The bomber came apart in sections. No explosion, no fireball, just wreckage, falling quietly across a corridor of farmland outside Goldsboro. Fields, tree lines, soft January ground. Nothing to signal what was still coming. Because the catastrophe had not happened yet. As the fuselage broke apart in the air, the 2 bombs separated, both of them armed. The first bomb deployed its parachute. This was not a malfunction. This was the weapon doing exactly what it was designed to do during a combat drop. It descended in sequence, rotating through its arming protocol as it fell, each safety layer disengaging in order. When investigators reached it on the ground, they documented what they found. 5 of the 6 arming safety mechanisms had failed. The weapon had passed through every stage of its sequence. Every stage, except one switch. A single low-voltage thermal battery switch, never designed to carry the weight it was now carrying. Between a functioning thermonuclear detonation and the eastern seaboard of the United States, one switch. Between a 4-megaton explosion over North Carolina and every city within the blast radius, one switch. Between an accident no government could explain and the world those 8 men had ejected into, one switch. It held. Nobody ordered it to hold. No pilot reached it. No engineer intervened. It held because of its own design, because of tolerances calculated years earlier by people who never imagined this specific moment. It held because of nothing more than the integrity of a single component that cost less than a household appliance. The second bomb did not deploy its parachute. It struck the ground at terminal velocity, and it buried itself deep. The soft farmland near Faro absorbed the impact and swallowed the weapon in sections. Investigators worked the field for days. They recovered fragments, components, classified hardware that could not be left in open farmland. They did not recover everything. The uranium core from the secondary stage was never found. The water table in that area runs shallow. The ground is soft. Excavation reached a point where going deeper became its own risk. The Air Force made a decision. They purchased an easement on the land, a permanent legal restriction. No digging, no development, no disturbance of the soil. They did not explain why to the public. They didn't have to. That land sits there today, quiet, unremarkable from the road. A field in eastern North Carolina that looks like every other field in eastern North Carolina, except that somewhere beneath it, below the water table, beyond the boundary of what has ever been officially retrieved, a piece of a thermonuclear weapon is still in the ground. It has been there for 63 years. For decades, the government managed the story carefully, acknowledged in fragments, classified in detail. The official position was that the weapons had never been in real danger of detonating, that the safety systems had functioned, that the incident, while serious, had never approached catastrophe. That position did not survive the documents. In 2013, a declassified report written by Dr. Parker Jones, a nuclear safety supervisor at Sandia National Laboratories, was obtained through a Freedom of Information request. Jones had written it in 1969, 8 years after the accident, after conducting a formal technical review of what had actually happened to that first bomb during its descent. His conclusion was not written in the language of bureaucratic reassurance. He wrote that the weapon had been ready to go. A government nuclear safety official, writing in a classified internal document never intended for public view, describing a thermonuclear bomb over North Carolina as ready to go. 4 megatons. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima released 15 kilotons. The Mark 39 carried 260 times that yield. The immediate fireball would have consumed everything within a radius crossing multiple counties. The overpressure wave would have leveled structures well beyond that. The thermal pulse, across a distance most people would not believe looking at a map. And then the fallout. Wind direction that January morning was moving northeast, toward Washington, toward Baltimore, possibly as far as New York, not as a foreign attack, not as a military exchange, not as an act of war anyone had declared, as a fuel leak, as a single fault in a wing that nobody caught in time. The men who survived went on with their lives. Most didn't speak about it. The culture of the Cold War military did not reward men who talked about what they had seen. The families of the 3 who died received formal notifications, condolences in careful language. The cause listed as an aircraft accident. Nothing that conveyed what those men had been carrying when they fell. The field near Goldsboro was cleaned up, visible wreckage removed. The area returned to agricultural use, one switch held against a failure cascade that should have destroyed it. The easement is still active. The field is still there. And somewhere beneath it, in ground that no official excavation has ever fully cleared, part of that weapon remains. The government knows where it is. They chose to leave it. That decision has never been reversed.